Hey guys, I'd like to welcome you all to our webinar with the theme How to be Effectively Productive During Global Crisis. So first, let me ask you, how are you guys doing? So sa makarelate ko sa inyong kahimtang ron, no? Nakaagisad ko aning subject ninyong MICE, no? Where you handle events or activities like these. Seminar, conventions. So, but for now, webinar salaman ta kay lagi nagka-pandemic ta, no? But, I didn't expect that I'm going to be a someday speaker for my dear alma mater. So anyways, feeling great. Naka-lunch na mo, kape, naka-vitamins. Of course, nakapavaksin na mo. Anyways, very good. I hope you're all staying safe. Because as we all know, we are now in this very hazardous situation. And everyone's having a hard time coping up with their lives. Everyone is getting confused, frustrated. To the extent that some people got depressed, Of course, the educational system has been greatly affected. That includes NORSU, though there are some institutions that are still handling some face-to-face classes, like our school, Team Skills. But then again, we are still following strict protocols and also blended sa damong way of teaching. On the other hand, some businesses has been closing down or paused. Since I'm also a mobile bar owner, which caters lovely events like weddings, conventions, etc. The events industry has been given a halt. Also kay, of course, makompromise niya sa IETF. So, ni-stop sa mong operations, no? Ako mga events tawon kay na-reschedule tungod aning pandemic. But then again, from time to time, we are slowly getting up, no? Bringing up the faith that we could still survive this situation and return to normal. Hence, we're on the verge of changing the system to create a more dynamic approach to contend our everyday lives. So in relation to what we're going to talk about in this webinar, I just hope that everything that I'm going to discuss here will greatly affect your perspective in the real situation, and I want you to open your mind, okay? Digest everything, and I want you to think and understand, because this topic will be about how to be effectively productive during global crisis. So, why productivity? It's because I do believe that it is quite essential, and it's a topic that is sometimes get overlooked when starting a career. Everyone wants a job, everyone wants to have stable and living nicely. But then again, if you want to have a good life, sometimes you need to put hard work on it. It may be personal productivity or industrial productivity. Since we'll be talking about productivity, my purpose is to create an outlook that you could have room to consider for yourself, to calibrate, to change, to re-evaluate, reflect, and ask yourself, para kanino ba ako bumabangon? Of course, dayon sundan dayon, yan na lang, kapoy pa, lamay pa'y katulog, 5 minutes pa. Of course, karelate na mo, nag-recess na lamang, ingana pagyapon natong kinaiya, di ba? Okay, let me have also a disclaimer. I'm not that a productivity guru, and also being human, I sometimes found myself not getting productive. But in the past few years, with the experience in the industry and a little bit of research, for personal development, and having 2 side businesses, and gisamutan pa nga mura tayo magka-anxiety kung wala tayo ma-upload kay lagi content creator, YouTuber ta. And of course, getting into the 20s crisis, nagkagulang ta, and sa inyong edad karon, you're still looking for yourself pa. And ug unsay ganahan nyo sa kinabuhi, ganahan ba mo sa inyong kurso karon, o mo graduate mo, asa mo paingon. So, yet, here we are, still surviving. So, I hope even just a little, I could move and assist you, okay? In these tough times and not getting into a job or career that you'll feel alone and isolated, okay? Let this talk of mine enlighten you to become a better version of yourself. So of course, there is a saying that experience is the best teacher. But for me, knowing and learning the experience of others is wiser. So, usa ta mo sulong sa gyera, talking about in the industry, dapat insakto tagbala, of course, lamang pa rin ang may alam. Anyway, in this webinar, we're going to talk about how to be effectively productive during the global crisis. So before we start, let me introduce myself. My name is Angel Salvoro, and I'm an instructor, an assessor, and a test ambassador. And I do specialize the qualifications like bartending, barista, and food and beverage services. And I'm also the owner of two side businesses, which is Mystic Flavors Mobile Bartending Services, which we cater for events like weddings, birthdays, conventions, etc. And we also have our newly established Cafe Mystica, drinks and meals on wheels, where we serve fresh brewed coffee and well-crafted meals. Hopefully soon we will bring the mobile artisan coffee experience in whole Negros. For now, we are based in Valencia Plaza, Paunayan, every Sunday 5:30 a.m. till 3:30 p.m. So guys, mga friends, ako nga taga Valencia and around Negros, support coffee farmers and support your local coffee brewers. Drink coffee. So by the way, I'm also a small content creator and I do have a YouTube channel where you can watch how to make coffee, make cocktails, etc. So guys, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Now for the record, this is actually my first time having this kind of topic in a webinar, and it's quite a leap of what I'm having as my focus. Not that I'm not interested to talk about this topic, but it gave me a sense of pride for myself on what I can actually do. So let me tell you also nga nasad ko for this webinar atong niyaging July 6, 8, 10, and I guess 13 with another college sa CIT Norsogyapon, where it is entitled Career Guidance and Employment Preparation, which I could say that it's quite connected with their topic also. So I was challenged but glad at the same time, since there are people that actually knew me and what I can actually do. So given the time to prepare for this webinar and other priorities, one time, I've asked myself, how far can I be productive? So it's a interesting question. Since I have an 8 to 5 job, I have to spend some late nights to create a detailed but simple way of understanding this subject. So then I have to do my research, read articles, books, talk with other people based on what they've experienced or perspectives, more likely a survey or interview. So there's a lot of views out there that we could think both sides and merging the ideas to support the subject. The fact that you're here joining this webinar makes me happy and excited to talk about this topic. Therefore, you joining this webinar could conclude that you're interested to know more about how to be productive in the hospitality industry, even though there's a crisis. And maybe, just maybe, that you are considering yourself to be working in the field that you love most. So based on my studies, this topic is subjective and objective, no? So meaning we do have different walks of life, and sometimes there would be things that we couldn't change for oneself, and they have their own way of making decisions. Nevertheless, the productivity in the hospitality industry is so fascinating, but I'll do my best to deliver this presentation as understandable, precise, concise, and practical as possible, okay? So we will tackle topics that are relatable and may come in handy this time around. And I may place some ideas to prepare for your future, but we will give more volume to the things that are around you already, okay? Kay basin mag, knowledge overload mo, nya, lisod na, no? Mas stress pa mo. So anyway, let's go to the presentation and let's start. First, I found out that there's actually kinds of productivity. So one is personal productivity. Now take note, we're going to focus more on the personal productivity since this is the foundation that we're looking for before you can be in the industry. Because it's quite challenging already and you'll have to expect the unexpected. It's a battlefield out there and we need to be prepared. So let's talk about personal productivity. So, imagine. So it's just a morning routine, So typical morning routine of a college student. So you wake up in the morning, you rub your eyes, you keep your bed, take a shower, eat your breakfast, dress up, take a seat, and then you open your laptop, go to Zoom or Google Classroom, and then you listen, right? You write everything on your accord, taking notes, and then after the webinar. And then what? Since you're just inside your house, you get bored. Typically, you'll just grab your phone, then do Facebooking, playing Mobile Legends, mobile games, TikTok. Now, let me ask you, are those acts beneficial for you? Have you thought about that? Now, okay, now let's think it this way. Have you thought of what you really want in life? Now, it's not about making the right choice. It's about making a choice and making it right. So, what is personal productivity? Increasing productivity has become a, cultural obsession, and people want to get stuff done more efficiently to be better, faster, smarter, richer, or just to free up more time for things they enjoy. But people rarely discuss what productivity really means. So, in the traditional sense, productivity is about maximizing outputs, increasing profits, or both. Both in the modern sense, when we say productivity, we often mean personal productivity. Now, personal productivity is ultimately about achieving goals. So, a goal could be anything from making more money in a business, as in the traditional sense of the word, to getting a 9 to 5 job done faster so that a parent has a mental and physical resources left at the end of the day to pursue personal interest. Some people want to get out of the office faster to spend more time with their families. Some people want to have energy left at the end of the day to put 2 hours of work into writing a movie script. On a personal level, being your most productive self means thinking about what you aspire to get done, figuring out what you are physically capable of getting done in a optimal environment, and following through on creating an optimal environment and completing the necessary tasks to achieve your goals. The follow through is usually the problem. If you ask several people what personal productivity means to them, you would probably receive a different definition of the term from each individual. Some might say personal productivity is getting more stuff finished in a timely manner. Some would tell you that personal productivity is setting goals and accomplishing those goals. Others might even tell you that the term meant nothing to them at all. Simply put, personal productivity is completing the actions that move you closer to accomplishing your goals in a manner that brings balance and ease to your life. Okay? It's all about completing an action cycle. Knowing what your objective are, the actions necessary to reach them is a trick to boosting your personal productivity practices. Okay? So we do have the different phases of this cycle. So we do have setting meaningful and measurable objectives, evaluating the objective into actionable items. We also have completing the individual actionable items. And lastly, we do have reviewing and acknowledging your progress. So let us take a little closer, okay, at each phase of the productivity cycle. So first is setting meaningful and measurable objectives. So, it is not enough to complete the task on a list. The task you are completing need to be directly correlated to a meaningful objective. You need to be working towards something. Being productive is akin to traveling a measurable path where your progress can be evaluated. Meaningful objectives are not vague ideas. They are the needle on your compass. They are the reference point used to measure your success or failure. Okay? If you don't have a clear and specific objectives, you can easily fall into the trap of completing tasks for the sake of completing tasks. Okay? You might feel good about getting things done, but you will never feel satisfied with your overall progress in the bigger picture. Getting caught up in a setting too many objectives is another easy trap that wages war against your ability to be productive. This can lead to feelings of inadequacy and imbalance, and even though you are completing tasks, you will probably feel like you are never getting anything accomplished. This will cause the priorities of your life to conflict with one another, and you will be left without balance. Many who fall into this pattern won't allow their work to suffer. However, they do end up sacrificing their home life and downtime. So in order to complete everything they've purposed, okay, themselves to do. The main idea of this phase of the productivity cycle is to prioritize the things in your life that are truly important to you. You need to manage both the number and the content of your objectives in order to maintain a balance in your life. So remember, meaningful objectives are precise, measurable goals with which we can align our actionable items and tasks. That way, the things that we do work towards our goals. In the end, this will allow us to be successful on the whole on our terms. Okay, next is evaluate your objectives into actionable items. Now that we have discussed how important meaningful objectives are to our personal productivity, we need to talk about how actionable items are the power plant that drives us to become productive people. Again, personal productivity is about completing the task connected to our meaningful objectives. Most productive people spend a considerable amount of time planning and thinking their task through, only placing the next actionable item that works towards their goals on their task list. Okay? So, unproductive people have the tendency to place items on their list that are not even possible for them to complete. So, an actionable item is the next critical stride that can be taken to work towards your goal. An actionable item has no dependencies, okay? It is possible to complete this task in a single step. If you can whittle your list down to the next possible actionable item that works towards your objective, your personal productivity will rise to heights you never believed possible, okay? Okay, next is completing the individual actionable items. A lot of you might make, long lists of things to do and wonder why you are never able to complete them. The problem often lies in making agreements to do more work than what is possible to finish. So never knowing when or how you are going to get things done. The key to accomplishing your task and reaching your goals is to schedule them. Okay, schedule them. That way, you do not end up sacrificing balance and breaking your agreements. By scheduling the actionable items on your task list or calendar, you drastically improve the chances of completing them. Okay, so this kind of steady, small successes will bring you the motivation to continue moving forward towards your goals. When your, meaningful objectives take some time to accomplish and your goals seem to be sitting far off on the horizon, the smaller task you complete along the way will give you that daily sense of satisfaction that you need. Okay? Lastly, review and acknowledge your progress. You may find yourself so caught up in the world around you and, that you rarely take time to evaluate the small endeavors you successfully complete each day. So when you acknowledge the completion of an actionable item on your list, you can see yourself getting one step closer to the objective connected to it. Acknowledgement of your success is critical because it creates the motivation required to continue through your productivity cycle. So in addition, there will come to a time when you do not have successfully complete the task at hand. Instead of feeling as if you have botched the master plan, understand the setbacks, okay? That give and of course give you an opportunity to step back and reevaluate your task or mission. The evaluation phase gives you the opportunity to move on, okay, to the next actionable item for an objective that is just necessary to reach your goals. For conclusion, this concept is simple, okay, but delivers great results. The productivity cycle allows you to maintain your sights on the bigger picture while continuing forward through the completion of small tactical tasks that lead towards your goals. Your precise and measurable objective will determine the exact actionable items on your list. Scheduled tasks will ensure their completion. Evaluating your progress, okay, will allow you to adjust your plans accordingly and you'll be motivated to continue moving forward. As you practice this cycle, you will end up going through it, enough times that it will become instinctive. Ultimately, when this cycle becomes second nature, you will find yourself experiencing true personal productivity. Next is 6 levels of productivity. Now, being productive with your time is one of the cornerstones of being an outstanding leader in the workplace. Most people are extremely busy, but the question always comes down to, are you busy being busy or are you busy doing what's important? Below is what I believe are the 6 levels of productivity that people experience in the workplace. So, which level do you spend the most time on? Level 1, avoiding. People avoid the work and actively don't do it. In other words, a lot of procrastination. Level 2, distracted. They tend to be distracted by lots of incoming priorities other than the ones that they're supposed to be working on. They find themselves overwhelmed by the work. The impact is that they have to work 3 times as hard to get 1 unit of work done. Level 3, appropriate. This is where they are doing the work they should be doing. In other words, they just, they're doing what is required. Level 4, deliberate. This is where people are starting to be disciplined with their work. They have to, they have a structured approach to how they manage their quarter, their week, and their day. Level 5, important. This is where people do valuable work that is crucial to their specific role. They work on a core categories or a key project in a deliberate way on a consistent basis. This is where things start to change. 1 unit of input starts to create 10 units of output. Level 6, inspired work. Inspired work is the game-changing work. This is where you will create ideas or find actions that are the difference that makes the difference. In game-changing work, you can do 1 unit of work and have up to 50 units of output. Okay? Tim Ferriss calls the leverage activities the activities that give you explosive impact. Alright, so did you know that there are also rules that evolves productivity? Yes, there is. So here it is, the first rule of personal productivity. So how do you know if you are being productive? I've always thought of myself as being a hard worker that efficiently and effectively completes prioritized tasks, okay? But does that make me productive? Some would say yes. Then why do I still feel anxious, guilty, and not good enough? I have come to realize I was being productive for the sake of being productive. As some of my friends tend to say, stop doing productive and start being productive. Personal productivity isn't just about doing more work in less time. There is always more work to be done. So how do you know when to stop? If you are thinking about working for yourself, that's an important question to answer. Many of us are doing productivity as a status symbol. We enjoy the feeling when people describe us, a productive person. But after a while doing productivity, I always feel as though I can no longer keep up. I eventually crash and burn out. So, when we do productivity for the sake of what someone else thinks, we aren't doing productivity on our terms. There is no joy in doing productivity in this way. It's not sustainable. We might be getting a lot done, but why? I finally discovered how to make productivity work for me. The first rule of productivity has nothing to do sometimes with tools, apps, habits, routines, goals, rituals, plans, schedules, or time management. The first rule of personal productivity is understanding your values. When you have a clear grasp of your values, you will have a clear vision of the purpose behind your work. You will understand for the first time why you are being productive. Well, I define personal productivity as working in alignment with your natural tendencies, needs, abilities, preferences, and purpose. Your values enable you to be productive on your terms. So, again, what are values? Your values are your personal code of conduct. They are your core belief that guide your actions, behaviors, and your interaction with the world. Your values are the foundation of your personal productivity, the constant that guides you through your chaotic workdays, the blueprint for your most effective work habits and routines, a reminder of what makes you uniquely productive, what makes personal productivity enjoyable and sustainable. Your values are your standards, your personal judgment of what is most important in life, a promise to yourself to never forget who you truly are. One of the most important things to learn about yourself. No? So there are lots of different reasons to be productive. But the most motivating reason is to be driven by your values. In some ways, your values are the core definition of yourself. They shape the quality of your work and how you choose to work. They provide guidance for how you want to design your life around the work you've always wanted to do. They are the reference points for all your decisions. They are the benchmark you use to judge all your decision against both large and small. They make your decision making process more efficient and effective by quickly eliminating options that aren't in alignment with your values. They also end up being the tiebreaker when you face extremely tough decisions. Your values are a source of strength. Each and every day we are forced to make compromises as we navigate through life. Your values aren't easily compromised. They provide a sense of direction when the path forward seems unclear. So my values, if you can't easily describe your values at this point in time, that's okay. I didn't know how to articulate my values until I spent a lot of time studying the pattern in my thoughts, behaviors, and decisions. It takes time. I know it's tempting to search for a list of values. But I strongly advise against doing so. Your values will be much more meaningful if you use words and phrases that mean something to you instead of cherry picking through a list of words chosen by someone else or internet. So here's how I describe my values in no particular order. Okay, choose time and experiences over money and, of course, material possessions. Keep things as simple as possible. Challenge the status quo and make it happen. Of course, family first. Be frugal, not cheap. Work from anywhere. And of course, always be genuine. There is no right or wrong way to express your values. Your list might be shorter or longer. Of course, you also don't have to limit yourself to individual words to express your values, as is the case in most traditional value discovery exercises. As you can see from my list, I've used phrases and conjunctions. Okay? Always discover your values. As I mentioned earlier, discovering your values takes time. If you are serious about understanding what makes you uniquely productive, I believe clarifying your values is unavoidable. Now, start by making time for self-reflection to become more self-aware. You might even schedule some me time, on your calendar on a regular basis. Use this time to explore your values. Okay, so here are some questions you might want to ask for yourself. What is most important to your life? Have you ever said to yourself, I can't do that because it's not who I am? Then who are you? What are your standards for how you would like to ideally work? How do you like the quality of your work to be judged? Okay? So follow up each question, okay? Follow up each of your responses to those questions by asking yourself why. Honestly, that's the toughest question at all. It forces you to dig deeper. It helps you, to get real about why you hold the values you do. Okay? If you're struggling to answer those questions, you might want to direct your focus elsewhere by trying one of the following exercises. Okay, so exercise 1, write about your proudest moments in life. First, Make a list of your proudest moments. I find that the stories I regularly tell to others about myself or accomplishments I regularly think about are a good place to start. Next, describe why each of those moments made you feel proud. Try to list a value or two that expresses why you feel proud of those moments. What do they say about what is important to you? Okay. Finally, look for common values and beliefs each of those stories and moments share. Okay? Now, you have a working list of your values. Exercise 2. Define your version of success. Make a list of what success means to you. Okay? Begin each statements with success. Success to me means, okay? Once you've completed your list, prioritize each version of success, of course, from most important to least important. Finally, try to determine your values by how you describe success. Exercise 3. What you don't stand for. If you are exploring your values for the first time, sometimes it's easier to first understand what you absolutely won't stand for. Okay? Make a list of everything that you would never tolerate. Okay? Begin each statement with I would never stand for. Okay? Once you've completed your list, ask yourself, what do I stand for? After each statement you wrote. Finally, think of some values that describe what you stand for. Okay? Values help you work at a human pace. So, you know what I love most about values is the context of productivity. Okay? They give me the confidence to work at a human pace in our fast-paced digital world. I'm never going to outwork a computer, but living my values makes me feel even more productive regardless of my output because I'm now creating work of high quality, not just quantity. So, my values also give me permission to take a break and restore, making my productivity sustainable over the long term. Most importantly, my values provide me with a peace of mind that I am doing enough and doing it to the best of my ability. Okay? Let me show you 25 productive things to do while social distancing. So across the world, people are being told to stay at home and practice social distancing in the wake of global coronavirus pandemic. So if you're usually a busy student, the switch from your everyday life to one indoors all day can be jarring. However, there are plenty of ways to fill your time during lockdown. Okay? Okay, struggling with quarantine guilt? If you're worried that you're not being productive enough while working from home, or feeling guilty about bad habits and an unhealthy lockdown lifestyle, don't panic, okay? We have an exclusive demand on webinar, of course, where we talk about managing your quarantine guilt and staying positive. Number 1, learn a language. I'm not suggesting you become fluent in French by the time the lockdown finishes, but learning the basics of new language using apps like Duolingo can be a productive way to pass the time and keep your mind sharp. Of course, we do have learn sign language, organize your notes, start a reading challenge. If you're the sort of person who thrives off set goals, a reading challenge is a great way to put up, your literary intake. Goodreads allows you to set and track a reading target for the year, and you can connect with, like-minded book fans for recommendations. Next, read something completely unrelated to your subject. Okay? Next, start an online book club. 7, reading not your thing? Try an audiobook. Audible are, offering hundreds of titles completely free of charge. Okay? Join an online choir. We also have do an at-home workout. Boost your pub quiz knowledge. Okay? Listen up. You can finally subscribe to those podcasts you've been pretending to listen to. If you're a business or marketing student, check out recommendations. Okay? Check out recommendations elsewhere or from the internet.
Okay, listen to podcast. 12, take a virtual museum tour. 13, visit the wonders of the world. Okay, so satisfy your unfulfilled wanderlust by taking in some of the most impressive landmarks in the world from the comforts of your sofa. Okay, the Guardian has a great round of must-see virtual tours here. Okay, so learn how to cook, of course. Learn how to code. Learn a craft. Watch documentaries. Help people. Deep clean your room. Keep socially active. Get green fingered. Do an email detox. Sort out your finances. Keep a journal. And of course, take time to be entirely productive. Unproductive, I mean. It's okay to feel frightened and like you just want to curl up in bed with the sheets over your head. While it's great to fill your days and feel productive, taking time to really chill out is essential for your mental health.
As we kick off the new year, many of you have the new enthusiasm, excitement, and energy. Every new year, you ask yourself, what would be my life this year? Because everyone deserves a great future ahead of them. However, building people takes up energy, building people takes up passion and grit. Building people takes up determination. We've heard all of this before, and if you say it long enough, okay, and if you say it with passion, people start to believe it. Many days you come to school or work when you don't feel like it, but you fake the enthusiasm and muster the energy anyways, because you won't let your day go down. Being productive needs discipline. We know passion is contagious, energy is contagious, ambition is contagious. We are always grateful for the positive motivation that we bring each year. The most valuable thing we have is time and attention. If time is the most valuable and precious thing we have, it's also the most precious thing we can give. Every day you give your best, others may not get much anyone's time or attention. Today, people spend too much time on technology instead of connecting and building real relationships. However, when you talk about a world of instant gratification, there's a problem with it. If you grow in a world where you are instantly gratified to do what you want to do, a lot of things that build success don't require that, Now we need to work with delayed gratification. Because if you don't sacrifice for something, you don't value it. One of the most important things we bring for our future is the work ethic. Are we working harder? Are we getting better? Okay? So let's solve problems. Let's look for opportunities. This year, let's bring the energy, passion, and determination back to your school or work. Everyone deserves the best future they can get, and we are prepared to give our all. So I guess that's it for this webinar, guys. I just hope that whatever I've told you in this webinar will greatly help you in your journey. If you do have any questions, please do so. Enjoy, have fun, stay safe and healthy. Thank you, everyone. Cheers.